Welcome to the third part of close passage. Close passage test, we understood in our previous videos that it is a commonly seen question in various competitive exams. It could be banking, it could be RRB, SSC or higher education exams like CAT, MAT, TOEFL, ICET. It is also a common question seen these days in various campus hiring processes. We understood that close passage is essentially like a fill in the blank question. However, there is some difference between the two. In a close passage, we are given a paragraph where the understanding of the context of the paragraph is important to be able to arrive at the answer. Whereas in a fill in the blank question, it is more to do with an individual sentence. You need to fill the blank according to the sentence given to you. Usually we understood that in a close passage that you will have about 5 to 10 questions and each blank will have either 4 or 5 choice given to us in brackets which we need to choose answers for. One of the important things we discussed was the content that is given to us. The paragraph that will be given to us will have something called a context and a tone. Context is something that tells us what the passage is all about. There are mainly 3 kinds of context that we understood. The first one is financial. In financial paragraphs, we will be talking about contemporary trends on economy, tax reforms, GSTs. It could also be any kind of a new law that was passed and it's discussed about. You can expect those kind of paragraphs in financial themed paragraphs. In environmental paragraphs, it will be related to things, environment around us. Topics on global warming, seasonal changes, glasshouse effect, then about any natural calamities like cyclones, forest fires, or about animals. These are few things that we can expect in environmental paragraphs. Finally, we have technological paragraphs. As the name suggests, you will be coming across paragraphs that are based on new inventions, importance of technology. I gave few examples on chatbots and how chatbots are used as customer service representatives in various organizations to be interactive with customers. These are few of the contexts that we can expect in a close passage. There is also something called as tone. The tone in the paragraph will be about 3 different things. One is analytical, the second is critical, and finally the descriptive. Analytical tone of the passage. In these kind of toned passages, you will come across author discussing or comparing the pros and cons of different things in the passage. Right? You can also come across a detailed analysis of one particular topic in a passage. Here you will come across analysis. It could be percentages, numbers, and so on, whereas analysis is involved. Critical tone of a passage will be where an author uses words to express adverse or disapproving comments. You can come across sentences that are judgmental by nature. Lastly, the descriptive tone. As the name suggests, here author uses words that talks about details of a passage. It could be more informative by nature. The usage of adjectives will be seen in these kind of passages. We also understood different approaches that we take to answer a close passage. One of the first approaches we spoke about was reading the passage. When we read the passage, we will understand the tone or the context in which it is discussed. Now, once you will read the passage and understand the context of the passage, you can analyze the passage to come up with words that fit in the blanks. Another approach is to be mindful of the signal words used in the passage. Signal words can be support signal words or contradictory signal words. Support signal words gives us indication that the author is talking about similar things in the paragraph. It gives us an indication that the author is still continuing to talk about the same thing that was discussed in the previous few lines in the paragraph. Contradictory signal words, on the other hand, give us an indication that author is talking about inconsistencies between two things, or the author is giving us ideas that are opposite or contradictory to each other in the paragraph. These signal words help us guess, understand what can be the answer for the blanks in the paragraph. Then we spoke about eliminating the options. Now, once we go through all these approaches, that is, reading the paragraph thoroughly, analyzing the passage, taking care and assessing sentences using the signal words. Once all these are done, you can comfortably eliminate words that don't fit the tone, the theme of the passage at all. Finally, we spoke about arriving at answers contextually. One of the challenges is the words given in closed passage tests are not very familiar to people who answer them. These are words that are of, at times, higher order in vocabulary, which is a challenge for a lot of us. So what we suggest is to arrive at answers contextually. One of the ways you can do that is when you read the passage, understand, analyze, you can arrive at answers of your own. You can decide if the part of speech of the answer that you have come to or arrived at is a verb, a noun, pronoun, or whatever it is. You can look for words that are of the same part of speech in the choices given to us. This is one of the ways that you can arrive at an answer. Otherwise, you can read sentences, look for words that probably contextually fit in the blank and choose them as your answers. We'll look at one of the examples and see how we can use these approaches in the paragraphs. You can pause your video at this junction, answer the blanks and then resume watching the video. One of the first things that we ask you to do is go through the paragraph. Read the paragraph to understand if it is a analytical toned or it is a descriptive toned paragraph, or it could also be critical at times. Once you decide on the tone, maybe you can think about what is the context. Is it environmental? Is it technological? Or is it something talking about financial? Now, when we go through this paragraph, we understand that it is a descriptive paragraph, right? Here, we are talking about what is a library, how it helps a person. The answers are as such here. When we look at the first blank, the library, if used properly, is invaluable in helping you develop discernment. It is rich dash information. Now, when you look at the sentence, read the sentence further. It is rich dash information that goes far beyond the dash of any one textbook or course. When you look at the first blank here, we understand that we need a preposition there. It is rich dash information. A preposition is a word that connects two nouns and it tells us the position of the noun in relationship to the other noun. You can go through our video on prepositions for more information on it. It is rich in information. So we choose in as our answer. If you look at the other options of, for, with, all three of them are not the right prepositions to be used there. As such, we choose third option, in. When we move further for the second blank, we understand we should be able to talk about a word that talks about like a boundary, right? So that goes far beyond the dash of any one book or course. Okay, we need to look for a word that explains or that is similar to the word like boundary, and here we choose limits. Pages, confines, limitations is not the right use here. We'll go to the third blank. Dash your textbook author does not make a particular dash clear and you feel the need dash another description in greater detail. Now these kind of sentences which have several blanks in one can be a little challenging for people who are not very used to answering these kind of questions. So we suggest go through the paragraph completely, have the tone or the context of what the paragraph is about always on your mind while you answer these questions. You can take each blank individually and answer them. For the third blank, we have chosen if your textbook author does not make a particular point clear and you feel the need for. Okay, so the third blank is if, fourth is point, the fifth blank will be for. The sixth blank, we choose or. You can also check what are the options given to us. We see that they are all conjunctions for the sixth blank. Or, but, through, however. All of them are conjunctions given to us. The appropriate word or the appropriate conjunction there can be or. Or in other words, go to the library and check other books on the subject. Okay. Now for the seventh blank, there can be some confusion where there are few people who would go with the first option given to us, that is verify. Verify and check. They both are, though many a times used as synonyms, they have significant difference between the two. As such, we use check other books on the subject. Verify is something where you already have some information. You're checking if it is true or not. That is where verification, verify comes into picture. Eighth blank. By calling dash 2 or 3 writers dealing with the dash topic. Right? By calling up. Okay? It's a calling up. Call up. It is a phrasal verb. Whenever you're calling a person, the phrasal verb we use together will be call up. Right? Or calling up. Calling up 2 or 3 writers dealing with the same topic. Okay. Now, why are we choosing same topic? It can be specific. It can be actual. Right. But we are choosing same is because we want to get more information. Right. So, when you read further the sentence, you will understand. You will find some dash of certain facts. Okay. Right. So, that's why we are using same. Same topic, you will find some clarification of certain facts. Let's take another example. When you go through this paragraph, you will understand that it is an environmental paragraph. Here in this paragraph, we are talking about snakes, pythons in particular. Kindly pause your video, go through the paragraph, arrive at answers on your own to check if they are right and also discuss the logic behind it. The answers for the questions are as such. Let's look at the first blank. Pythons are non-venomous snakes. Okay. Pythons are huge non-venomous snakes. Okay. So tiny, small, cute, huge. Pythons are usually big. Okay, so the word that is synonym to big is huge in the options given to us. Pythons are huge non-venomous snakes found dash in damp places and rocky ledges near marshes and in dense dash. Okay, so found dash here. Now after the word found is a verb. So we need to look for a word after the verb that is an adverb. Okay, so you will see the choices given to us are all adverbs. Mostly, rarely, occasionally, hardly. All of them are adverbs. Now, the adverb that best fits the blank is mostly. Okay, so pythons are huge non-venomous snakes found mostly in damp places or rocky ledges near marshes or in dense jungles. Right? So it's a very simple place. Okay, it's a very simple answer. Here we have to arrive at a noun. Dense is an adjective. Adjective is something that describes, gives more information about noun. So we choose one of the appropriate nouns for that blank, that is jungles. They are considered to be most primitive dash the living sakes. Okay, so you will have to look at words that will fit there. The best word for that blank will be among. They are considered to be the most primitive among the living snakes. They retain the traces of hind limbs. Because it is telling us the reason why they are considered as the most primitive snake. Okay, so blank 5 is talking about a conjunction. Okay, so all the given option to us is a conjunction. Okay, so, because, and, but. All of them are used for different purposes as a conjunction. Kindly go to our video on conjunctions for more information. Because is used to give reasons for something. Now here we are telling why snakes are considered the most primitive, because they retain the traces of hind limbs of a dash era. Dash era. Era is a noun form. Okay, we will have to choose a word for blank 6. That is an adjective. Now here, when you look at the options given to us, latest, present, recent, bygone. Bygone is the most appropriate one. Bygone means it is something that is over, something talking about a long past incident. Okay, so very old. That's what we mean by a bygone era. Now talking about the 7th blank. We are talking about a bygone era in the form dash horny clone like spurs. Okay. Of will be the answer. We need a preposition here. Right. So era in the form of horny claw like spurs which are present on either side of the anus. Right. Which are present on. On is another preposition that we will use there, of the anus. The is an article. Okay. Now, there are few words where we require article. There are a few where we don't. You can go through our video on articles for more information. Here, however, we need an article before the word anus and we have chosen the as the article. The is a specific or a definite article. The hind limbs are functionless in female pythons.